Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in this class, I'll be teaching you how to sew this trendy collar with V shape, as you are seeing right there. So it's actually a kimono gown, but then it has a cargo pocket. So this trendy gown is really fitted. Is a shift gown, I will call it. So I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks to making this dress, as you can see, with cargo pockets. So if this is what you want to learn, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn the tips and tricks to fixing or sewing this collar accordingly. So stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. I'll be using two different Ankara prints for this design. So these Ankara prints, I will not make use of all of them. Okay, Ankara comes at 6 yards, but I'll be making use of less than 6 yards. So at the end of this tutorial, I will also let you know how many yards I've used, but it won't be more than 3 yards. Okay, so here is the combinations. For this, I'll just take only 1 yard. 1 yard will be enough for what we need. So now we are going to use this to cut out the bodies. So I'll quickly open it up. Like I said, it's 6 yards. So since it's 6 yards, I'll just turn it to the yardage I would love to make use of. So I'm going to lay it on the length, okay, because that's, we are making a short length for this dress. So from here to here I have 45, so the length is very much okay. So what I'm going, so out of the 6 yards of Ankara right now, I'm making use of 2 yards for the bodies. So like I said, we are folding it on the length of the Ankara. So since I have 2 yards, I'll cut out the remaining 4 yards. So what I'm doing is separating the remaining 4 yards. Okay, so I'll be working with these 2 yards right now. So what I have to work with now is 2 yards. So this is my 2 yards out of the 6 yards. So if I have to place my tape from here, is unfold. I have even more than, but 2 yards is enough. 36 is a yard. So now the length of the Ankara we are working with is 45. So it's enough for the length of the dress. Can you see? So I'll be using the whole of it. So now placing it on fold, a yard on fold, that is the 2 yards. You can see it. So this is the folded edge. I'll pick up the folded edge and match it up with the open edge. So if I do that, I'm going to turn it around. So the folded part will be this center front and center back of this dress. So I'll just arrange it appropriately. So after placing it on fold, this serves as center front and center back. So we'll start off our tutorial by making the border line. Always make a border line. So the border line, I'll just come down by 1 inch. Okay, so that is the first starting line. We call it shoulder line. So this shoulder line, I'm going to take my measurements. So the measurement of I'm going to take, which is necessary for this dress, is the under bust measurement. I know you might be wondering why the under bust measurement. So my under bust is 14. So I will take 4.5. 14.5. Okay. So 14.5, I'll rule my under bust line. After the under bust line, the next measurement I will take will be my hip line. My waistline, sorry. My waist is 17. I will take 17 and half. My hip is 29. I'll take 29 and half. That is for stitching. And then, like I said, I'll use the whole length. So I'm going to rule my lines across. These are the necessary lines we need. So now we want to start imputing the horizontal measurement. So center front, center back. The first measurement I want to impute is my shoulder divided by 2, which is 8 inches. I'll mark. After marking it, I'll mark the neckline. We are using 3.5 for our neckline. And neck depth 1 inch for the back. So I'm going to connect the back neck depth. I'll connect the back neck depth. Now here comes this design. So for this particular style that we are making, on the under bust line, we are going to come in from the under bust line by 2 or 1.75. Let us do 1.75. 1/3. So make sure it's 1/3. Okay, so I'm making sure it's 1/3. This is my 1.75. So at this 1.75, I'm going to connect the 1.75 directly to the neck depth of 3.5. So that will serve as the front neck depth, and this will serve as the back neck depth. So by the time we cut out the back, we'll separate the back and cut out the front as usual. So after connecting this to the under bust, well, it depends on how you actually want it. Okay, although what we have on the thumbnail there is below the under bust, so we can do 2 inches below the under bust. So 2 inches below my under bust already is the under bust measurement I took here is 14. I added half an inch, so it's already 1/2. So it's almost getting close to my waistline. So what we can do from this 14.5, let's do 1.5. That is 16 before we connect. So because that's what we have there is actually very, almost to the waistline. So from here, I will now come in with my 1.75. 1.75. So I'm going to remark and I'm going to rule it again. So wherever you choose, you can also have it on the under bust, is okay. So but wherever you want it, just simply go ahead and do this. This is what you are supposed to do. Then we are going to cut it out from here at 1.75 connected to 3.5. All right, so next we want to do from the shoulder divide by 2. I'm going to measure my the length of my sleeve. The length of my sleeve is not going to be that long because I still have it get to the elbow. So we'll make use of 8 inches, and I'll add half an inch for stitching the 8 inches. Okay, or let's leave it at half an inch. We'll use the other fabric to complete it. So now I'm going to take the opening. I'm going to come down, I'm going to come down by 1.5. That is shoulder slant before we take the kimono opening. So I'll connect all the way from the 3.5 to the 1.5. That is the kimono sleeve opening. So now from this point, I'll now take the sleeve opening. So usually for kimono opening, I like to make it very open. Okay, so I like to take 11 inches. 11 inches is including seam allowance. So I'll just go ahead at that point. I'm going to connect from here to here. Can you see that? So that will be my kimono sleeve opening. So by the time I stitch 1 inch, I'll return back to 10 inches. So the next thing we'll do is to come over to the waistline and take the waist measurements. So my waist measurement I'm working with here is 40. On my waist, I measure my waist divide by 4. 40, which is 10. This is fitted. So since it's a fitted dress, I'll work with 1.5 fitted and work with 1 inch. Add another 1 inch for sewing. So everything will give me 2.5. So just add 2.5 to your waist circumference divide by 2 because the dress is a little bit fitted. Then coming over to the hip, I'll measure my hip divide by 4. I'm working with 11.5. I'll add 2.5 to it. Whatever you add here, add here. Everything will reflect. So I added 2.5. Here I added 2.5. So for the hip, I'll take what I have on the hip to this point. So here I have 14. Then I'll come in back here and I'll measure 14. So I'll measure my 14 on the hem. So everything is including seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect straight from hip to hem. After connecting from hip to hem, I'll now connect from the hip to the waist. Then from the whatever I have on the waistline, everything I have on the waistline here is 12.5. Okay, so this 12.5, I'll come on the I'll come on this line, this 11 inches, and measure 12.5. I believe you understand. On this 11 inches mark, I'll come to the center front of it and measure 12.5. This is my 12.5. So I simply connect a straight line from there. I'll use this part of my ruler, okay, because that place will give us that shape. Then here you can do the kimono curve, okay. So that is it. So now I'm going to cut out what I have on this dress. So I'm going to cut what I have on the dress. Then make sure you check your measurements to be sure you have what you desire. So now I will cut. Go ahead and cut right now. So you first cut the back neckline. First cut the back neckline. Okay, so now I'm going to place my notch on the center front, then take away the what I have inwards. So this one I took away is the back dress, and then I will arrange it back and cut out the front dress. So make sure you properly arrange before you cut. properly arrange before you cut. So I think I've arranged it appropriately now. So I'm going to cut the neckline. I'll cut the front neckline. So I'm cutting it all the way to that 1.75 and cut out. So once you get here, make a notch this way at 1/2 inch. It should not be more than 1/2 inch. That will be our stitching point. So after cutting, this is what I have. So this is a 1/2 inch I told you to make notch diagonally. What you want to do is to take the measurement of the pocket, because we are going to sew the pocket first before we join the front and the back. So for the pocket, I'll just place my tape on the shoulder line to the waistline. So we already have the waistline. So from the waistline, just simply come down from your waistline by 2 inches for your pocket. This is 2 inches from my waistline, and that is where the pocket will start from. So from the center front line, on that line, on these 2 inches below, from this line, I'm going to take 2.5 inches away from the center front. So 2.5 inches away, this is my mark, and that is where the pocket will start. So from here, my pocket opening here is at 7 inches because of the kind of pocket you are making. And the height of the pocket is going to be your hip measurement. So you have to go back and place your tape on the waistline. So waistline is 17, I added 1/2 inch, and this is my hip measurement. So already I have my hip measurement. So my pocket can go as high as to the hip. Well, my hip is a little bit high, so it depends on your size. So what I would advise is just place your tape and take 7 inches or 8 inches is okay for your pocket. So I'll just use 8 inches because I have a longer hip. But if you have a shorter hip, just simply from your waist 8 inches, you take your hip measurement. So from here, I'll mark 2.5 again. I'm trying to create a straight line for this pocket, and this is it. Now I'm trying to create a straight line. I'll mark again the 8 inches, and this is it. Then the pocket width is 7 inches. It's a square pocket. This is it. So I've already created the pocket shape. So once I cut out my pocket, I'll simply come into this box and drop it. So the same thing I did here, I'll also do the on. I want to show you how I cut my pocket. So my pocket is 2 here, and the width of the pocket I have here is I have the width of my pocket at 15 inches, and the height of the pocket, I took first the casing of the rope at 1.5, then I measured the height of the pocket we measured on the dress and added 1 inch to it. So that is how to go about it. So now I'm going to fold this pocket into 2, and I'll be measuring. I'm going to take the measurement of pocket width, which we took, which was 7 inches. Divide by 2 is 3.5. So I just make a mark at 3.5. So this mark I made at 3.5, I'm going to make a notch, place a notch to it, because this is a cargo pocket. So as a cargo pocket, I'll show you how to go about it. So make sure on the down part you have the notch. So this is the notch. I just want to make this one prominent. Alright, so the notch will be there, and we'll go over to stitch the casing. So for the casing, simply fold it to touch the line. Once you touch it, but before that, after making this notch on the down part, we'll also create another notch on the casing on the casing point. So this line, I'll fold it and make another notch that will serve as our guide. So you can see the notches I made on the pocket now. So I'll pick up one pocket to demonstrate how to go about this dress. So I will go ahead and fold. First I will make this touch this, that is the casing, the rope casing. Then that notch, can you see that? So I'll fold it on the notch. So I'll go over to my ironing table. I'm going to iron out this before I stitch. Okay, so that is the first thing you are going to do. Once you fold the casing, you stop stitch. So we have a rope for the pocket. So I've already cut out the rope. The width of this is 1.5 and the length of my rope is 17 inches for the both of them. So I'll first go ahead and sew this rope. I'll fold in 1/2 inch and 1/2, just kiss them. Once you kiss them, you kiss it again and top stitch. I'm done top stitching the both of them. So I'll go ahead and fold it together this way. Okay, so once you fold it together, you make a mark on it. I want to open up the casing for the rope. So this is the center front. I'll just come just very close behind it. Although this method I'm using for opening this is not, we have a different way of doing it, but this will also work for you. Just open a little for the rope casing, just a little. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Okay, so that opening, I'll follow there and pass the rope. So I've already knot the rope and I have 4 of them for the pocket, 2 for one pocket. So I just pick up 2 of it. This is the knotted part of the rope. So just go ahead and knot it this way. That's all. That's what I did. So I'll use my safety pin and pass my rope. So like I said, this tiny opening I made here, you have to be very careful when you are making this kind of opening. So I'll just go ahead and stitch on this side. Then I'll also use the same method and pass this one through this space and stitch. So just make sure the opening is very small. So if the opening is small, it will be easy to for the rope, okay, to cover up that space. Although there's another method of doing this, but I'll use this method for this class. So I'll go to the machine now and stitch. I will do that for all the down part. You know, we made 2 notches because the measurement of what we need for this particular height is 7 inches. So I'll just, from this notch to notch, I'll just make little gathers, just little. I'll draw little gathers to it. So as I'm drawing the gathers, I'll be taking my whole measurement to be sure I have 7 to notch. I have 3 inches and the whole length of my pocket is 7 inches. So since I have 3 inches from this notch to notch that I made this notch, we have 4 inches remaining. So I'll mark 2 inches here and mark from here. I'll mark another 2 inches. Then on this part, I will go in by 1 inch. I'll fold in by 1 inch, and from here I'll fold in by 1 inch. So just make all of this notch. So from this point, I'll match it up. I'll make it, fold it like a rectangle, like a triangle. Okay, this way. So we are going to sew it this way. From here, we'll match it up this way. So it's a cargo pocket. So now, after this, you can go ahead and iron it. You can see how I have it. Then now, from here to here, we have our 7 inches, which is the measurement of the pocket. So let me just, I have 8 inches here. So I don't want it to gather too much, so we can use 8 inches. Okay, we can use 8 inch, although we measure 7 inches. So now after that, I'll fold in. I'll take my time and fold in this part again. Okay, I'm folding in this part at 1 inch. I'm folding it at 1 inch because the measurement of the height of our pocket is, the height of our pocket is 8 inches in total. So here I have exactly what I need, 8 inches in total. So I'll go over to my ironing table and iron this, what I've just made now. I'll iron it very well, then I'll show you how to sew it to the dress. So I bring in the dress. This is the square part I told you we are going to sew this. So I'll go over to my machine now. I'm going to sew on the squared line. You know the shape is like a triangle, but we'll push it in on that square. Okay, so that's how you get the effect of that cargo. You keep it straight. I'll bring this one on the straight part too. I'll also position it straight. Okay, so after positioning it straight, like I said, we later made this at 8 inches. So I'm going to increase the length of this now. I'm going to increase the length of it because what we had at width here is 7 inches, but I'll make it 8 inches. So I'll just increase the length at 8 inches. Okay, please try and have this correction done. So that it will be my guideline, the 8 inches. So because already we have 8 inches on the waist, from here to here we measured 8 inches. Okay, on that gathered part. So I will now start sewing. So I'll first go ahead and sew straight. I'll bring this one on the 8 inches line. I'll sew straight. So this is how you are going to sew. So after sewing that, then this gathered part automatically falls on the line. Can you see? Automatically it falls on this line. So let me stitch it. Now I've sewn the pocket. So this is what I did, like I earlier demonstrated. I have to force the V-shaped pocket into the straight parts, so it will have that effect you are seeing right there on the video. Okay, so this effect, and this one I pleated a little, I stitched, and I also stitched at interval of 0.75. so if you look at it, you can see my stitching lines. Can you see that? So if you want this pocket, you know our measurement of the pocket was 8 inches, but I will advise, if you want it as it is right there on the video, instead of 8 inches, this is even 7.5. You can make the length of your pocket 10 inches and push it back. Can you see? If you want this effect a little more, instead of measuring after folding from our folding point that time, the 1.5, instead of measuring 9 inches, I will advise you add 3 inches to it, 12 inches for this pocket. But when you are sewing, you also sew it back. I believe you understand. So that means this side you also gather a little, so you'll be able to have that effect, that if you want that effect. So that is that for the pocket. But what we have here is also good. We have a little of it, but if you want it much, extend the length of your pocket. So I've gone ahead to sew the neckline. You can see the neckline. I've joined back and front together. So the next thing we'll do is to take the measurement of what we have on the neckline. So I'll be taking the measurement from where I have the notch. Okay, that is where I have the notch. So I'll take that measurement from here to the joint, to this point. I have 6.25. That 6.25, I'll multiply it by 2. Whatever thing I have, I'll add it to the measurements of what I have on my neckline this way. So here I have 8 inches at the whole back plus 16.25. I will add another 16.25. I have 41 in total. So here I've already hairstayed my collar. So you can see the collar is hairstayed and is on fold. The width of this collar measures 3.5 and the length of this collar measures 45. So remember that we had the total round neck collar measurement was 41, but add 4 inches, whatever you get, add 4 inches. That's why I have 45. So this 45 inches now that we have, I'm going to place it on fold this way. So this will be the center back of our collar, and I'm going to create my notch for the center back of the collar. So if you look at the center back, you will see that the neck at the back is higher. So I use 3.5 for the center back, but for the center front, I'll use 2.5. I'm using 2.5, okay, including seam allowance 2.5, and I'll mark. So now I'll come in with my ruler. I'll slant it a little this way. Can you see how I slant it? Just don't make it so prominent. Can you see that? So the most important thing is that the front part of this collar is at 2.5. So this 2.5 I have now. I'm going to cut the excess. I'm cutting the excess following the chalk line I made, and I'll just blend it into the 3.5. I believe you understand. I just blend it into the 3.5. So here, which is the collar, is bigger than what we have here. So now another thing is the shape, the V shape we have at the center front. At the side, I'll come up by 1 inch. And I'm going to create that V shape. Can you see? I'll create that V shape. So if you want it deeper, you can also, if you want it more sharp, you can come up by 1.5. But I think what we have here is okay. Or I can go up a little more by 1.5. Let me do 1.5. It's still okay. So that part will be sharp at the end of the day. So I'll connect it. So from that 1.5, I'll cut it to nothing. So it forms that V for us. So now another thing is, so after placing it on fold like this, make sure it's equal. So this folded part is the center back collar line. So from there I'll place my tape, and I'm going to take my measurement at 14. Okay, so you mark 14 inches. If you want it exactly the way it is on the video, you mark 14 inches. But if you don't want it too open, you can do 13 or 12 inches. But it should not be less than 12 inches, so it will be able to pass your neck. So I'm going to sew on this crease line. I'm going to sew and stop before 1/2 inch. Please stop before 1/2 inch, because we'll still turn this part. So I'll go to the machine now. I'll arrange it very well, stitch from this 14 and stop at 1/2 inch. So I've gone ahead to sew from that 14 inches and stopped at 1/2 inch. So I'll turn the collar again. So this is how I'll turn the collar. So I'm turning it and laying it flat. Can you see? So when I lay it flat, this is what I'll have. This is the opening for the collar. So if you notice, I left 1/2 inch. So I'll just do what? Invert this part. Can you see? I will go to my machine now and neatly put this part in. When you are sewing it, just neatly stitch at 0.5. I'll do the same this side. So this is what you are going to have after I turned it and stitched. I stitched and turned like I demonstrated. So it will now give you that end, that sharp end. So now we'll bring in our fabric, and I'm going to start stitching. I'll first of all match the center back. This is center back. I'll come in with the center back. Make sure you have your notches. This is how the dress is going to look like, this way. Okay, that's how it's going to lay. So it depends on how you want it to lay. Okay, so let me lay it this way. Then the notch I have, this is it. So if it's going to lay this way, that means you will turn it this way and match. So I'm going to secure with my pin, and I will sew from this notch till I get to this end. Let me do that. You can see I'm done sewing. Like I said, start from the notch, match notch to notch. So when you sew round, you are going to terminate at that point we notched. So this is what we notched. Can you see that? So now I'm going to push this in to the front, and what we have here, we are going to fold it to the back this way. Okay, so I'm going to secure it with my pin at the back. I'll just secure it with my pin at the back. Later we are going to take off the pin as well, so just hold it down with the pin. So after holding it down with the pin, I will now turn to the front. So we are going to stitch top stitch. That's what we are going to do. So my top stitching, I'll start from here and go this way. I'll follow the shape of this way. I'll go this. So I just went ahead to top stitch only on this part, okay, because it was not really looking nice top stitching this way. So just go ahead and top stitch here. Back stitch and top stitch is okay at that point. So now this is what we have as a collar. So you can see it's actually looking neat. So by the time you give it a good press, everything relaxes nice and flat. So the next thing I'm going to do is to close up the side. But before I close up the side, I'm going to take the measurement of the sleeve. I will be sewing an additional sleeve to it. So I have 21 inches. So I'm going to cut my band right now for the sleeve at 21. So I've cut out 21 inches, which I just measured, and the width on fold is 3 inches or 3.25. It depends on how bold you want. So I'll come in with my dress. I'll come in with it now. I'll simply go ahead and join. I'm attaching it from one end to the other. Then later I will top stitch. So I will have it this way. So let me do that. Then I'll close up the side, and we are done with this class. After sewing the band, just make notches on the armhole for ease of turning, and cut out the excess right at the collar. Thank you for watching. See you in the next.